Hey there, thank you for joining me. I am an Army veteran, a retiree, and federal government employee. And this channel is for the transition from military to civilian. And today I'm talking about why we fail as job seekers. If you're new here, please subscribe. Now let's get started. Alright, so you probably heard this saying before, but looking for a job is a full-time job in itself. And as job seekers, we're placing ourselves in a vulnerable state, a position to be rejected. And not just once or twice, but sometimes over and over again. It can easily injure a person's ego and pride. But we must try not to take it personally. This is where being resilient and understanding your value will pay off. When you fail to get the job, do not internalize it as a failure, but as a lesson learned. So that way, you are either earning job offers or you are learning lessons. So why are we not getting the job? Or in some cases, why are we not even getting the interviews? Number one, you are not the best qualified candidate. This is difficult to understand and to process because we have a bias towards ourselves. But most of the time, we are not the only veteran applying for this position. We are not the only person with a bachelor's degree. We are not the only person with the experience to perform this job. And there are dozens, if not hundreds of people applying for the exact same position. And if someone else is more qualified than you, that is okay. Not every position is for you. Number two, someone else was already pre-selected. Now this can happen in the private sector or the federal government. There are some times where a job announcement is listed and somebody on the inside already knows who's going to get that job. This can be done by a referral. It could be an internal candidate. It could be done simply because someone knows someone who knows someone, and that someone is not you. And you will never know this when you're applying or when you're interviewing for the job. And it's best to go into these type of situations hoping for the best, because you should never count yourself out. You should go in and prepare in such a way where you feel you have the best shot of attaining that job. You can only control what it is that you can control. And if you feel that you're qualified for that job, you need to apply for that job. Number three, you are not a good cultural fit. And a lot of times on the second or third interview, what the interviewers are trying to do is they're trying to assess and determine and evaluate what type of person you are and if you would fit in with the culture that they have in their office. The hiring manager, for instance, could determine that if they extended you an offer, perhaps you would turn around and leave 6 to 12 months later. This is something where someone looks at your resume and they can clearly see that every 10 to 12 months you're changing jobs. So although you might be highly qualified, they feel like you're a potential risk to leave early. So if they were to invest so much time and resources into developing you and putting you part of the team, that you would just turn around and leave. In that case, your value, even though it is there, it doesn't align perfectly with the organization. So it might not be a good fit. 4, your nonverbal cues. Poor eye contact, laughing inappropriately, seeming indifferent, or having your arms and legs crossed when you're answering questions. These can be examples of poor nonverbal cues. You want to display yourself as someone who is confident and who is open to new ideas. Sit up straight and appear interested in the new information that's being exchanged with you and the interviewer. It makes a huge difference than if you were just sitting there kind of slouched over, looking off to the distance or not paying them any attention. Number 5, you place the blame on others. This can be determined when they're asking you, why did you leave your position? Why did you decide on a career change? And then you say, well, Brad or Susan at the other department, they had it out for you and you never fit in there, so you had to escape that toxic work environment. When you place the blame on others, it makes it seem like you're not accountable for your own actions. And what I would highly recommend is in every situation where there is conflict or challenge, look for the point where you had responsibility and accept that responsibility. Leaders want individuals that will accept responsibility for their actions. We cannot control external factors, but we can always control how we react to these external factors. Finally, the interview process is an opportunity for not only the company or the department to ask you questions, but you can ask them questions. So you can truly see how it is to work in that environment by asking these type of questions. So you could disqualify these departments and pick the best one for you. You can have multiple job offers and then select the best one. And that is possible when you have a strong job searching strategy. Now, myself personally, when I left the Army, I applied for 200 jobs within the first few months. 50 of those job announcements were canceled. 75, I was rejected. The other 75, I was referred. And that gave me 10 interviews. Out of those 10 interviews, I received 4 job offers. And when I went through the hiring process again after 18 months, it was a lot easier for me. Overall, the hiring process is a tedious, difficult process. When you are struggling and dealing with failure, keep the reasons that I mentioned earlier in the top of your mind. When you come up with a plan and stick to it and see it through, that is the best way to attain success. Also, when you narrow your focus on what type of jobs you're applying for and ensure that you're highly qualified for these positions, that will also result in success. When I first decided to apply, I was applying at all different types of departments, different job series. It was like a shotgun spray. And basically I was seeing what was going to stick. But now, understanding where my skills align with the most, I can do a narrow target. Well, that wraps up my video on why we fail as job seekers. If you like this video, please click like and subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, please leave those down below. And I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.